I'm gonna give you the abbreviated version of like how I got to where I am in life. So, little kid Gar has a very toxic, horrible childhood full of anime protagonist tier of edgy backstory, horrible, awful, terrible shit happening to me. Basically stuff that I can't talk about on stream because it's that bad. But when I'm like 10 or something, I get a fucking Game Boy Advance and it fucking blows my mind. And then I get a DS and it fucking blows my mind. And my first console is a fucking Wii. And video games were fucking incredible for me because like I didn't have them for most of my life. My friends did. And I would like go over their house and see a GameCube and I'd just be like, whoa, what the fuck is that? Oh my God, that's so cool. So I was immediately enamored with video games, and the concept of making video games was so fucking cool to me. I was very, very, very passionate about music and art. And so the only thing really remaining was like learning how to do coding. So I start reaching the end of high school and I want to make video games. And my parents tell me that that's not like a real career. If I want to do video game stuff, I should get a career in computer science because that's what's going to help me get into video games. Parentheses, that's not how you get into video games. But like, again, I'm a fucking child. So I'm like, cool. I guess I will get a degree in computer science. So I do a bunch of college searching, eventually find one that I can afford, get shipped off to college and start my computer science degree. While I'm there, a lot of my roommates and a lot of my friends and a lot of my peers, and then I go talk to grad students and professors, are all in the game design degree at my university. And I start learning that my pipe dream of what I understood game design as a job to be and what jobs were in general was not true, because I was raised as a child with this dream of, if I want to, when I get older, I can go be a person that works on the next Dark Souls game at From Software, and I'll get to work on parts of the game that I want. I'll get paid a lot of money. I'll have a really positive, fulfilling career, and like I'll go home at the end of the day and have like a fucking great time. When in reality, getting a job at places like that is fucking crazy impossible because you have to have incredibly banger resume stuff. You probably have to get in via nepotism and like having connections with people who are already there, because so much about getting a job is about lying out of your ass, sucking up to people and manipulating them, and having pre-existing connections already, because so much of it is literally about networking and has nothing to do with your actual skill. Also learned that the likelihood of me getting to work on part of the game that I wanted to work on and have a fulfilling 40 hours or less work week is basically not real, because I'd probably be getting paid a salary, which means I'll probably be putting in more than 40 hours a week, probably be working on shit that I don't actually want to work on. And the only realistic way of working on shit that you want to work on all the time is doing like indie work, which basically means you're sink or float starving artist, and that sucks. Found out that my computer science degree is basically going to be completely irrelevant for the shit that I want to do, because nobody's going to give me a game design job, because I'm not going to have a game design resume in my portfolio. My portfolio has no video games or video game experience in it. It just has algorithmic backend fucking JavaScript and Scala and fucking C++ bullshit that nobody gives a shit about. Can't even land an internship with that kind of resume in terms of game design stuff. So I do what I fucking can. I complete my degree. I do internships in the finance sector of the world. I go start working big banks and big corporation Wall Street jobs. I make fucking buku crazy fucking out of this fucking world money. I'm making like 6-figure salary off the fucking bat, like the fucking $5 billion kajillion dollars. But every single day I have to commute to a shitty job. Actually, I graduated into the pandemic, so I'll skip over that part. But I have this fucking absolutely turbo shitty job where everybody there is the kind of person who's like, hey, look at my $18,000 wristwatch. I just bought a new yacht. Don't you think that's cool? Haha, let's talk about being rich and hating minorities. So everybody is like completely devoid of any personality that I give a single fuck about. Everybody's toxic as shit. My job is actually incredibly boring because my entire job revolves around tons and tons and tons of red tape with nobody actually taking responsibility for any of the work they do, and everybody's saying, oh, you need to work on this thing, but I'm blocking you? Well, let's make a meeting for next Wednesday and we can talk about how I'm blocking you. Next Wednesday comes and they say, oh, sorry, I have to flake on you, I can meet with you on Friday. You meet with them on Friday, and then you have a fucking hour-long conversation where they say nothing, but then at the end of the hour they say, oh, actually, that's actually a Josh thing. You have to go talk to Josh. So fucking, you have to go email Josh, and it's a Friday, so Josh doesn't respond to you until Tuesday next week, and then Josh says, I'm actually not available until Wednesday. So then another week goes by, and you do literally nothing. You're sitting at an office chair doing nothing, but you're forced to come into the office. You sit there and you stare at a fucking wall, and there's nothing you do the entire day. You're getting paid $5 billion, but you're so creatively bankrupt that you're rapidly becoming super depressed because you spend all of your waking hours sitting in a fucking cubicle doing jack shit with your life, unable to express any of this like rampant creative energy that you really want to get out of yourself. You come home and you play video games and you think, is that it? Is this how my life goes now? Do I just fucking sign off in my brain for 9 hours a day? And I'm making great money, and I was always told that like the goal of your life is to get a degree and then go make money, and like I'm doing that, but like when does it become fulfilling? When do I stop hating myself? When do I like come home and not want to fucking jump off a bridge? It's not happening. So eventually I just fucking leave that job. I go to a different job, and they promise me that it's going to be this really fulfilling thing where I'm going to get to do all this creative stuff and that it's going to be great, and they're paying me even more money, crazy buku bucks, but I have to move somewhere. So I trust my stepmom, who at this point hasn't super fucked me over and stolen thousands of dollars from me. She does that later. I trust my stepmom to figure out trying to buy a house for me because I'm making buku bucks. I just got paid in advance for this new job that I got. They gave me a sign-on bonus of $5 billion kajillion dollars. So I'm gonna let my stepmom figure out buying a house for me because I'm actually not able to come check out houses because I'm currently in a horrible living situation with somebody who's super toxic that I basically ended up cutting out of my life the second I was able to move away from them. So my stepmom, thinking that she's like on fucking A&E being the co-host of House Flippers, the fucking TV show, buys me a shitty dilapidated house in the middle of goddamn fucking nowhere hyper suburbia, and it's like, don't worry, you'll be able to fix it up. You can pour $100,000 into it and then it'll be maybe marginally as good as an average tier house. So I move into this godforsaken shitty house in the middle of goddamn nowhere, and I'm like, well, this house sucks, but at least I'm starting to work a job that's supposed to be super epic and pog and fun. And then I start going to that job and I do all my training. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm all trained up. When do I get to start doing like all the fun stuff that you promised to me? And then they're like, oh, actually, you don't get to start doing that. Actually, the actual job that you're going to be doing is doing maintenance work that's so dumb and menial that I explain it to people with an analogy where I'm like, they sat a crank down on my desk and they're like, your job is to crank this wheel, and if you ever start cranking, we have progress metrics installed in your computer, so we can actually tell the minute you start cranking slower, and we'll come over to your desk and be like, hey, is everything okay? I see that you stopped cranking at the same speed that you were cranking before. Can you talk to me about that? What's going on in your head right now? So I start going to this job, and I'm making even crazier buku bucks. I'm making $5 gajillion billion dollars, but I'm literally doing less than I was doing at the other job. I'm doing absolutely fucking nothing. Everything I do is super menial. There's no creativity. I'm literally sitting there doing the same repetitive, like, easy task that takes at max 2 minutes over and over and over and over and over again. This goes on for months and months and months. I start Twitch streaming because it's something that lets me like do my art. It lets me play video games. It lets me pour some creativity into it. And I'm coming home just so depressed that I fucking come home at the end of the day and I lay down on the couch and cry. And I lay down on the couch and cry until I fucking cry out all the emotion that I've had sapped out of me for the week. And then I get up and I'm like, oh boy, it's time to go stream. And then I get to experience a fraction of life satisfaction during that stream. And then I go to bed and I get up and I go to my job the next day, come home, cry on the couch, rinse, repeat. And then eventually a person in the cubicle next to me gets COVID, but they come to the office anyway. And I say, I'm not fucking going to COVID if the person in the cubicle next to me has COVID. And then my manager reaches out to me and says like, oh, you didn't come to the office today. Why is that? You need to come to the office for company culture. And I'm like, cause the dude sat next to me has COVID. I don't want to fucking come in. You promised me when I got this job that it would be permanently remote, and you fucking lied. And then they're like, oh, well, it seems like this isn't a very good fit for you. So we'll actually give you a like resignation offer where we'll continue to pay you for like 6 months if you fuck off from this position so that we can get you out of our hair. And I'm like, cool, I'm fucking off. And that was October of 2021. I was given a like termination like deal where they're going to continue paying me for 6 months, whatever. And I full committed to trying to do art and streaming, and I haven't looked back since.